Hi, it's Jez here from Nigezza.co.uk. Thank you for joining me today. So today I'm bringing you a little scrapbook, and I made this for the Ink and Share scrapbook blog hop, and the theme was spring. So yeah, I think I might have done that. So it is a 6x4 scrapbook. Well, it's slightly bigger with the cover, but I've used 6x6 papers, this, and the Memories and More cards as well, and the beautiful dragon Dandy Garden DSP to make this little simple album. Quite quick to make. I will do some speeding up in my video because it's quite a long video, but it's a big project, yeah, I think you'll agree this looks very, very spring-like, and it's quite robust as well, and so you can take this out with you or just have it to record happy memories of nice walks. The sun's coming out now, we're having some beautiful days, albeit maybe a bit chilly on some days, and we're able to meet more people, go and sit in people's gardens, and yeah, so a nice little happy, bright spring light album for recording, and there's lots of room for it to grow as you stuff it full of memories. Okay, so I'll show you how I made it. So for this project I'm going to use the Dandy Garden Memories and More pack. If I can get the bag open. Oh dear, always struggle. There we go. So the Memories and More packs, they come with 4x3 cards, 6x4 cards, and stickers. I've used some, and they're great. There's more stickers in these two sheets. They must be further down. They're great. You can use them just for a card. That would just need a sentiment. You can mount that on a card. Good to go. Or they're good for the sort of pocket style scrapbooking, or even just using them on a scrapbook page. And I have in fact done that. I've used these on scrapbook pages already. You might remember a scrapbook layout I did before. Great for little journaling cards, and yeah, no, some of them have got great sentiments on, so they're sort of ready to use. I like the little ones as well. They're good little journaling cards, or you can use them together. I've just used the top of that for something, to make cards. Something like that with that would go nicely on a card. So yeah, so the theme spring, and dandelions is something that we've seen an awful lot of. Went to visit my son and yesterday, yeah, and the nope, day before yesterday. It's Friday, isn't it? And his front of his student house is just full of dandelions, just looks like that. And it was like, yeah, it is definitely springtime, and it's a beautiful sunny day. So this was, I mean, I bought this with the idea of making a little album anyway. So here we go. So I've picked out 6 sheets. So this little album, just using 6x6 sheets, and I've picked ones that have got similar colours. So I've gone for sort of green on that side and yellow on that side, and these sort of beautiful pages as well. So there's blues and there's purples in this as well, but this is the ones I'm going for, and I've kind of laid them where I think might look good. I could change my mind. So this is going to be like the front sheet of the signature, so booklet, whatever. So I'm gonna, each sheet is going to get scored at 2 inches, well, 4 inches, giving a 2 inch sort of overlap. Okay, so we are just going to be doing that, and then that's going to get folded over, and then the next sheet is gonna go over this one, so we're going to do it on the opposite. So we're going to score that at 2, pushed slightly too hard there, so that it's going to go in overlap like so, so that that forms a pocket on there, and I've sort of chosen them so they'll match a bit, okay, and then that can form a pocket on there and look okay. So that is how I'm sort of building it up. So on here, this would be the big pocket, the big page, and that kind of goes with that, and then that would be a pocket on that side, and that would work too. So it is just a matter of sort of getting your head round how they might fit together, and it is, you can always change your mind, so you can flip that pocket either side. So then coming this way, we do the yellow, and that green would be on there, so we'll do the 2 inches that side. So that's going in like so. This is 2 inches on that side. So you're just alternating one with the other, and then that one is going to be 2 inches on that side. Just kind of having a little look, because this is quite a busy, yeah, I think that works. Like so. So that is the basic album. So you would have, that's a nice front page, open it up, got a pocket there, open it up. You could either do the pocket that side or that side, go with that side. That, I like to see the full page of that because it is quite lovely. I like it anyway. And then here you've got a choice. I think we'll do it that way. Yeah, I think that works that way. And then that works that way. You could, if you wanted to, change a few of these around. So we're going to fold and burnish to make really good creases. Different. So that is that bit. So now we want a cover. So we're taking a sheet of Mossy Meadow, and even the sound Mossy Meadow makes me think sort of spring-like. So it is 6 inches tall, so I'm going to cut this to 6 1/4 so that we've got 1/8 of an inch poking above. And below the bit of cardstock. So this is just a standard sheet of cardstock. Now if you've got if your paper's 8.5 by 11, then this next bit you're going to be slightly different sized sort of pocket. So that fits quite nicely there. You've got a little bit, just a little bit at the top and at the bottom. So I am now going to score this in half. Now for A4, that is there at 5 7/8. If you're 11, that will be 5 1/2. So scoring that down there to the middle. And then these are, so it's 4 inches wide, because that's the way I did it. You've got a bit of protrusion, I am going to trim them down. Okay, so we want it to be 4 1/4. So what we're going to do is put that score line on the 4 1/4 mark. We can see it down here, and we're going to score, and then we're going to double check we're all right. Yep, so that's going to go over like that. We're going to put this score line on the 4 1/4 and give it a score. Now if you're working with 11 inch cardstock, then you're going to have a smaller pocket. That's the only difference that you're going to have, and it don't really matter. So give those a burnish, and that is going to be our little cover there for our little album. So we will open up, we'll have a pocket there and a front facing page there, and then when we get to the back, again we've got a pocket on that side and a front facing pocket there. But I thought it'd be nice to cover these so that it wasn't plain looking, so I'm gonna sort of cover to sort of match these sheets here. So having picked the papers, what I'm going to do for this is cut it at 4 inches. So I've got a 6x4 strip there that will go in there nicely, and then we want a yellow strip to go down there just so that it reflects what's on there. Well, I've had to go for this one because I don't have another sheet of that left, so it's going to be 6 tall, and then this is, it's 1 5/8, so I'm going to cut it at 1 1/2. If you've used (11 inches, your strip's going to be less. Okay, so that will go down there. And that will still look nice. And then on this side we've got our little strip there to go on there, so I'm going to cut that down to, I can't remember now what I cut it at, goldfish. I went for 1 1/2, so I'm going to cut down 1 1/2. So we've got that to go in there, and I could in fact use that yellow, which is quite nice, but I was going for the green, wasn't I? Yeah, we'll go for the green. So we're cutting this at 4 inches. And that's ready to go on there. So then it's a matter of choosing something for the front and the back. You could use one of the Memories and More cards, will mat beautifully on there. So I'm thinking I might have a little look and see if there's a card that will go nicely. Obviously with the words going that way, that is no good. So I'm just wondering about the front and the back, being that it's stiffer and it gives a little bit more then rigidity to the book. And then we can put some ribbon underneath these to fasten it and have a little tie there. I think that would work. And then we need a book plate. So I've picked out this one. I quite like that. I think that could do with being sort of fussy cut out. It could become a nice little book plate. And then we've got this lovely polka dot ribbon, which I'm not actually sure if I've got a bit long enough. Now that I found it, I just had a little sample, and I'm not sure if I've got a piece big enough to go round. You see where I've tried colouring it? Oh, I think it will just. I think we will just manage to put that round and create a closure with this. Gonna need to cut that little end bit off, I think. So that is how we're doing this. What I might do actually, because I'm going to catch it underneath, then I can actually use two bits, and then I'll definitely have a piece long enough. Okay, so let's start getting these stuck in. So I need to fussy cut that. There. And I think that's quite good. Hooray for today. It doesn't have to be, each page could be a different day. Not necessarily going to do a whole book on one day. So let's start sticking in. So I'm going to do these bits first. There we go, nice little folder there. So now we need to sort these out. So each of these is going to get stuck together down the side here. So a little bit of glue down each of these sides. You need wet glue when you're making pockets, because if you use tape, it will always be sticky. There'll always be a residue of stick, so whatever you put in will stick to it, whereas wet glue dries. So that is how the pages are going to get stuck together, and we'll stick that together. So you're sticking each pair together. So that's how they're going. Okay, so I am just going to wash my hands. So I've got rid of the sticky on my hand, so we're now seeing that it is forming quite nicely, and I'm going to stitch. I've stitched in before, and I hope people that have watched me regularly, if they were feeling a bit sort of unsure or nervous about stitching something, that those sort of fears have been allayed with you. Okay, so I'm going to get my bookbinding kit ready for sewing. So I've got everything ready now. I realised in my kit I didn't have a template for a 6-inch journal, so let's make one now. So just got some old card, so just cutting 6 inches, and I've just made it like 2 inches wide, so I'm just gonna fold it, that long one. I'm just going to give it a score, give it a bit of help. So just fold it in half long ways, and then fold it in half short ways, and then that is finding my middle. So we now know where the middle hole we want to be, and then we want to find the one top and bottom. And the way I do that is I fold it in half there, and then I fold it in half again, and then that gives me the point there. So we're gonna have a hole there and a hole there, and then we do the same on this side. And I've got templates in my little bag where I do my, I've actually got a proper bookbinding kit for Christmas, and that's how I do it. Okay, now you could use your pokey tool. I just use an awl because I think it's easier to grab hold of. Particularly, I've got RA in my fingers hurt quite a lot, quite often. Okay, now the way that that's been sort of formed, you've got a bit of protrusion, so you could choose to cut those first before we do the sewing. So as it's 6 inches long, we can just use a little guillotine. You could use a craft knife and a ruler. So just going to do bits at a time, and then move slightly. Oh, that's sticky. I haven't cleaned it yet. I do sometimes struggle as you get thicker, but we still need a little bit more off there. And this is natural. This happens whatever type of stacking paper on top of each other that you might have. You'll always get that little bit of protrusion, so you can leave them or you can trim them. And sometimes I leave them, sometimes I trim them. Okay, so that's those ends dealt with. I have bought myself a craft knife to do some slicing. I watch people do that and I go, oh, that looks so much easier. But I've not tried it yet, and I wouldn't be doing it on camera the first time I try it, I can assure you. So putting that in the middle there, putting the spine, my template rather, on the middle there, laying the book up using, I might just use these little ones actually rather than all those big ones, just to hold it in place. So move those out of the way. So I get my arm and I do it with the book slightly closed because you want the hole to come out on that spine, and if you had it open flat and did it, you'd miss it. So my tip that I picked up from watching people was to do it slightly closed, and then it comes out on the spine like magic. Okay, and then do it the same up there, comes out on the spine, and then on the other one. And I just find this is the simplest way of binding a little album than doing sort of gluing hinges. I just feel that that is the easiest way of doing it. Now I'm going to keep the bulldogs in place. I'm just removing my template, and I put that in my little bag, so I've got lots and lots of different templates in there, so I don't have to make one every time. Okay, so now we need our thread. We don't need our owl anymore. These are just what you get out single malt whiskey or good gin, which tends to be what we drink in our house, and so I keep them all, so they're really useful. So I'm just using some of our white baker's twine. I'm at the end of this roll, use it a lot, so go 3 times. There's a little bit, I may as well just use all of that, but normally about 3 times the length of what you are gonna be using. A big-eyed needle, to thread. Usually find I can manage, when it's a big eye, I can manage to thread quite well. Gonna take the end off. I will need glasses, but I think I don't need my needle threader. Famous last words. There we are. I learned to thread the needle very young because my mum used to make me do them for her because she couldn't see. There we go. Don't need to knot the end. So I'm going to go in there, pull through. This is called a 3-hole pamphlet stitch. Hold that down the bottom. We're going to come in through the top, and you should be going through the hole that you've made previously. Feeling my way through there, pulling through nice and tight, and then we're going to go back through there, but making sure they're the other side of that bit of twine and you're not splitting the twine, because that's important. So coming back through and out through that hole, and then you're going through the top hole. So really just 3 stitches, and we find our top hole. So at this point we want to make sure we're pulling everything really tight. So pull that one down, pull that one up, put this needle underneath that top thread, take your needle off, give a good pull, and now we are going to tie our ends off. And some people leave them to dangle and they add charms and things, or you can just do a nice bow or a double knot. I do double knot it, and then tie bow, looks pretty. And so you can add charms if you want. Little dragonfly charms would be quite nice if you had some. And that is it bound. So that's them in there, nice and simply. So you're not losing side of the paper. We're seeing all the sides of the paper doing it this way. So now we just need to put the fastener on. Right, so we want to make sure we're the right way up, and so we want to put some ribbon on the back before we sew on our covers. So I'm gonna, this is 6 inches, so I want 3 inches above, 3 inches below, which is just over 6 inches, so that we can find like the center point. I'm gonna put a bit of fast fuse around there. Actually I can stick that coloured bit. I'm still going to cut a bit of it off. So put that along the middle, secure it in, that bit there, secure it in, and then we can stick our nice journaling card over the top of that. And let's go around to the front. So that's going to get stuck down so that we tie on the side. And then we've got our little hooray for today. Not sticking it up on dimensionals or anything, because if this is going to be used in somebody's bag and taking with them, you don't want anything that would get caught. I'm just thinking I might put something white behind it. Yeah, so I've got the Stitch So Sweetly dies, and I've got these two white ones here. I felt that one wasn't quite big enough. That one would be better. So I'm going to stick that in the centre. And it makes it pop a little bit more, I think. On the front there, looks a bit more like a nice book plate, and it probably would benefit from little fake brads. And we can just punch touch a little circle. Just to, yeah, give that a little bit of decoration. So yeah, I think that works. So little dot, a little dot there. And then stick that on. So that's the basis of the album done, and then you can use the Memories and More cards to decorate the inside and create journaling cards and photo mats on the inside. So I'm just going to get those all ready. So I've been through and I've picked out my cards, and because they're 6x4, these big ones are a little bit too big. I quite like that one on this inside pocket, but it's just slightly too big, so I'm going to trim a little bit off the bottom, so it should fit in there now quite nicely. And then for the rest of it, I've just used the little 3x4 cards, so I've just picked out ones. So a photo could go on the back. There's a nice little statement there. You can put a photo there, and you could put other little bits of journaling in there as you want it. So I was just picking cards that said things. You could always trim it down and have that stuck on there, but for now I just wanted something like this. Once you fill in, you can sort of decide about different things once you're filling it up. Love that one. I think that's just a lovely saying. And then on the back here, I've picked out the purple from there, and I'm sort of ending it with a similar way that I started it, but with the smaller version, writing on the back there to say something. You can always stick things on these pockets as well. Could put a few dragonflies. There is this lovely page that the dragonfly punches out, so I'm going to do a few of those and stick them around as well, just to make it look pretty. So what you've got to remember is this is a double punch. So say we wanted that blue one, we'd then be punching into that little yellow one, and we don't want to do that. So we want to do some cutting around. So we leave these little ones intact because they will punch out as well. Like so. And then we can get that green one. What you might find would be handy would be to put a bit of sticky on that to hold on to that, so you've got a little handle for feeding it in. Makes it slightly easier, although that handle's a tad short. Put it on the side. And then we can get it. And I do need a yellow one. So I'm just going to put a little yellow one there on that page. No, I'm not putting a yellow one on that page. So you can just go through and embellish how you want. So that one was too busy, didn't need anything, so I've put a couple on there, got one on there, could stick another one on there. It's a little bit big, I could get another one of the little ones. Put a green one on there, a blue one on there, and I've stuck a couple of the little ones on there. There's also the sticker words. So there are some word stickers here, a special, very special day, today's events, then and now with love. Then there's happy birthday and congratulations and thank you. And thinking of you things which you may not feel is appropriate. But you can do that, you can stamp, what have you. So that is my little album. Didn't take too long to make. It might be quite long for a video on YouTube, but quite a nice little project there using 6x6 DSP, which sometimes I think, oh, I can't make a album with that, but actually it's quite a nice size. You can get some nice big photos in there, room for memories, stick in tickets, whatever you want in there. You can add other things in there, other places to write if you want to. So there we go, that's my spring themed scrapbook, journal, whatever you want to call them. So hope you like that. I will link to the blog post down below, and I will link to the original blog hop so you can go and see what everybody else has done. And I might trim them slightly. There's long and then there's just too long, isn't there? So there we go. Yeah, so you can see what everybody else has done. Links to my shop down below where you can go and purchase these things if you want them. So hope that has given you some ideas. Okay, bye for now.